I would say that it's really been turbulent. Uh, with all that said, I still think that it's quite exciting. Exciting in a sense that, you know, we're on the field. I enjoy that the most. And obviously, off the field, there's a lot of organization that needs to be done. But nonetheless, I would still say that, you know, the boys or the team that we have, it's a hungry team. Hungry team in the sense that these guys, we have a set of group of boys that can actually make it to the Nations Cup for the second time in a row, which will be something extraordinary. So they're hungry, and then at the same time, you've got young boys trying to come up. They need experience, so we have to give them that platform. So getting that balance, that's actually the turbulent part, but it's still a great honor, and I think it's something that I'm really enjoying.
Indeed.
Obviously, from an organizational point of view, is that you have a mandate. Now, mandate or my mandate was clearly to qualify for the continental showpieces. I think we're in a reckon for that, and we're on a good way till we are proven otherwise. And then at the same time, well, like I said, we have this bunch of players that's been around for quite some time, and at some point that break's going to happen where we need to get the new Peter Shalule, the new Dion Horto, as normal life would be. So that's also part of the mandate to integrate some of these boys. And at the same time, I think from a personal point of view, and I think it's also got to do with the country, that if we are able to get players out of the country, these players are becoming good, they're getting better training consistently at a better level, and that means the group becomes good. The group becomes good, the country will become good. So to a certain extent, if we have now a Junior Peters that's in Kosovo, we have a Prince Shueda that's in Kosovo, you have a Procius Peters that's in Kosovo, Stephen Damaset that just left for Egypt. Those are basically some of the targets that we say, wow, we're not too bad, we're not doing too bad, and we just want to continue doing that.
Indeed.
Normally, that's actually a situation that nobody, especially a coach, wants to be in.
Yeah.
You know, there was a situation, I'm not going to mention the name, where you called up a player, and at the time that you last saw him, he was part of the setup, was really good, and he's doing good, and you thought that these qualities will be needed in that specific period of time. So this guy comes over here, he's 15 kilos, 20 kilos over, and you're like, hey, this is the national team, this is not supposed to happen. Nonetheless, that's a situation. That's where, when we started, we basically had a whole lot of young boys, people that nobody knew about. If I hear about a Tuli, a Ngero, or a Shipe, nobody knew about them, but it's boys that we knew, that we were following in the youth leagues. Fast forward, the league started now, and I think obviously we have to give credit to the normalization committee. They really did a good job to have 4 leagues playing simultaneously. That's also something that's remarkable. So in that regard, we are able to basically scout the players or watch football every weekend and every weekend. And with that said, you are actually also able to then get the players that's playing really good and that you think are fitting fitting the plans that you have for the national team. So now we have that base where you have these players, where you basically have a group of 40 players or 40 names that you have in your head that you're going to work with for the set period of time. But now they come to a certain level where you're like, okay, it's good, you came in, but now the next step has to happen. The next step is basically for them to know that I'm part of this. So now to be part of this, I'm competing against guys that's at a better level, a higher level, that's training day in, day out. So it's for us now that made it very clear to them that saying it's not enough to be part of the national team. To be part of the national team, it should be coupled with pride and consistency and hard work, and it's not something that everybody is given this opportunity. So you have to become an athlete, and that's where we are now with this group of players, where we weight them with their body mass indexes. We even went as far as just measuring his arm or his legs and say, okay, CJ, this is not happening. You are too light for this position, or you can only last 60 minutes. We need you to last 90 minutes. So when we see you in September, you should have made a little bit of a positivity in the next direction, and that's where we say we want athletes. And if you become an athlete, you're going to be automatically be coupled with mentality. And that's what the song that we're singing, ambition and mentality, and that's the only way, if we have that, that we are able to compete at that level in Africa. I actually like this question, thank you for this. It's potential. It's potential. The layman would say it's talent. And we all know that if talent is not nurtured, it's not worked on, doesn't mean anything. Hard work is going to beat it every day, all day. So now what we have right now is potential. It's just guys that can do it, that's showing promise, that he's able to play against a certain player from Cameroon, from Ghana, from Morocco, and this and that. But now we've identified that, and now it's for them, where the ball is now into their court, where we say, listen, you can come to the stage, but to stay at the stage, you have to work. And that, for you to come there, it was God's work. Now you have to put in the work. And that's where we're saying that the game now has become so physical and so athletic that that first quality is obviously the physical. To be physical, you have to be an athlete, and that we can't do for you at the national team. We identify you, and that's why we're saying we did now basically some tests, and we gave them, this is the blueprint, this is what you need to do, you have to upkeep this. Other than that, if you don't, unfortunately we probably have to let you go, because there is no way that we as small Namibia can compete against those guys at the very, very top if we don't do our homework. We cannot be that arrogant. And also on that same topic, us saying that, hey, you know what, we didn't have a league, and we could beat this country, or we could qualify for the Chan or for AFCON. That is not normality. So we cannot use that as a base. It's not for us identifying that potential, and it's now the ball is in the court of that potential, whether you're going to stay in the setup. And you're not going to stay in that setup if you don't do the work. I want athletes, Namibia needs athletes, and that's the only way we can actually compete at that level. If you do your work, and you know that how physical the game is all over the world, there is no way that if we don't just do the work, if I just train 2-3 days before a match or a week before the match, that it's going to be enough. It's never enough. So like I said, again to the question, the potential is there, that's we identified them, and they know that they're part of the structure, and they shouldn't be fooled by saying, I'm a young guy, I am going to be there. No, you just got into the door. To stay there, you have to do the work, and that is a serious, it's not even a threat, it's a serious, it's really serious, and we expect that from everybody. And it's not even for the young players, it's as long as you're a player and you think you are good enough to play for the national team, you have to bring the athleticism, and then we'll work on bring the athleticism, a little bit of talent you will have obviously, and then we'll work on the technical part of that. That's actually interesting. I wouldn't say that there's a Collin Benjamin system as such, but my personality, my expectations of how a soccer game should be is based on a few principles, where I'm saying aggressivity has to be part of it, activeness has to be part of it, hard work has to be part of it, mentality, ambition has to be part of it. Those are all principles that is coupled with a lot of hard work. And I don't think I'm exclusive of the idea if I say that nothing is for free and nothing comes easy. I have to put in the work. So now, if I have to put in a layman's language and saying, listen, if there's 52 countries in Namibia, and Namibia is at the moment ranked 24, between 20 and 25. So that means we're actually halfway in the table. So now if I further go then into the layman's language, where I say every Namibian watches the English Premier League, it's like Manchester City, Cameroon, Morocco, Ghana, Algeria, those are the Manchester Cities, the Arsenals and all of that. Namibia would be a mid-table club. It would be, I don't know,
Bournemouth or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And what do they do when they play against? Those teams? You don't have a chance if you have to compete quality by quality or pound by pound. So what is it that they're gonna have to do? It's hard work. They have to make. It's basically another analogy is basically those guys are Range Rovers. We are a bakkie.
Yeah.
Now we have to get that Range Rover onto the gravel road. So, and we are a bakkie. So we have to go onto the gravel road, we have to push and pull and bite and this and that in order for us to actually be on the same power with that luxury vehicle. So now, coming back to soccer, it's like if we are not able to do the work and be physically present at that field, they're gonna climb over us and they're gonna beat us, and then we're gonna go back in the 90s when Namibia used to get beaten 4-0, 5-0, and all of those things, and we are far away from that.
You're referencing Benny McCarthy.
Exactly. So all of
Yeah.
those things are not going to come again. If we are going to have athletes and we're going to have an organization, we're going to have a structure, and we're going to have guys that know and understand what the assignment is. So with that said, we need players like a Stiga, for example, right now, where we do a lot of work to get the ball, and then 3, 5, 6 seconds after that, we lose the ball. And that's also coupled with experience. I cannot expect Edma Kamatuka to be doing that, because he just 4 years ago, when there was no soccer, he was 16 years old. There is no way I can expect that from him. So I have to get a Stiga for him to come through and like, Kamatuka, Gero, run, get that ball, give it to me. And while I have it, you have 2, 3 seconds to get into space so I can give it to you. And then you can use your youth, where you can then put in your athleticism 1 against 1 in certain areas of the game. And that's basically how the thought is with having these kind of players. And I think it's also not rocket science. That is the Namibian player, and with that we just basically want to take the best out of him. Gone are the days when we say we have these so-called playmakers that the spectators love, and no, there is no playmaker anymore. It's 11 defend, 11 attack, and for that you need to be doing the work. You need to be an athlete. There's no two ways on that, and that's why we have this crop of players where Stiga needs help, because Ngero now, like I said, 4 years ago he was 16, 17 years old. There is no way that we can expect that from him. Stiga's there to come and calm to do the work. And mind you, he's still doing the work. He's still doing the work. He's really like a Mercedes-Benz on the Namibian stage right now. If you look at any game that he's way head and shoulders above everybody. So yes, he needs and he deserves this place. And I'm just looking forward to having him on the field. And hopefully, if all things goes well, we can play him against South Africa.
Indeed, and speaking about South Africa, I'm sure you are quite pleased at the fact that we can play friendlies again. Namibians were very sad at the fact that we just had to compete, but not really testing.
Yeah.
And that's really what friendlies are for,
Yeah.
aren't they? Just your expectations, number one, on the friendly, but also looking at the challenges beyond that. The qualifiers that we have to play. There's still more football that we have to play. So just moving forward, and then I really want to practice this because of time.
Yeah.
Also take into consideration your record, right? 3 losses, 3 wins, 3 draws. Take that into consideration and put that into perspective on how the calendar looks like, but in particular, looking at that friendly, what are we expecting?
I think it's good. It's on paper, it's a friendly, but I think in the national soccer, there's not such things as friendly games. It's still Namibia against South Africa. It's to a certain extent also some kind of prestige. Most of our players play in South Africa. It's also them showing their adopted country that, hey, you know what, we actually just as good as you are. So in that regard, it's a prestige match, and we're all looking forward to that. We still obviously a few days before the match, so it's not yet set who's going to be available, who's not. So in that regard, we're happy for that, and we're gonna do a few tests. We're gonna probably put in the one or the other, but at the same time, I'm still also looking forward to the match, in a sense that you've got probably the best squad that we could have in Namibia right now. I mean, we just recalled Stiga, for example. He's going to be around. We have Peter Sitembi, yeah. And then you've got these boys from Kosovo, Prince coming through. It's exciting times, and it's also basically a blend of experience and youth. And that can be very good if everybody is in the same mindset and doing the work that they have to do. So in that regard, yeah, we're looking forward to that. And yeah, can't wait for that. Huh? Yeah, I think if we have to go back onto that one, it's really our own doing. I think we had our chance in Tanzania against Burundi. I think we slept, but at the same time, I also think you can learn best through losses. So it's not a good situation because it's not your hands. But I'm also very confident that I think we did the work against the Cameroon, and Cameroon being at home with Burundi. Yes, it's soccer. Anything is possible, but I'm still very hopeful that we're gonna make it. But then at the same time, these friendlies and the upcoming games coming, we have a few guys that we just called up now. It's basically the door is open for everybody. So if you are around sitting and saying, hey, you know what, if you say you're a good player, the train didn't leave yet. It's for you to do the work. So starting with the South Africa game, after that we've got the CHAN qualifiers, which is actually just for the home-based guys, but it's open for everybody. And I think this is the chance. If anybody ever thought that I can't play soccer or I'm not good enough, this is the chance. And I think the requirements are so easy or simple. Be an athlete. Be an athlete. That means every day work on your body. And if you're at club level in Namibia, in normal circumstances, you excel in your club, chances are that you're gonna be called up. So I think this is exciting times. We've got World Cup qualifiers coming, and with all of that, I'm also gonna be honest and frank and say that what doesn't sit nicely with me, and I think probably also with the nation at large, is that I've heard talks that we want to qualify for the World Cup, for example. I think that's not fair. It's not fair. It's not right. You cannot expect to have a wedding, and your eldest is having a wedding, and you're having the wedding at the neighbors, and you expect that marriage to work out well. So that's the only thing that I'm not so well with that. It will really, really, really be good if at some point we are able to put all our strengths together and get the responsible people together at the table where we say we're gonna fix our stadium, we're gonna let our stars play at home. You mentioned Peter Shalulile before. For some people, it's just somebody we see out there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice to see him here? And that's not only something that has to do with soccer people. There are soccer people that's got influence in the political scene, in the greater Namibian economic scene, whether it's what do you guys call it, financial advisors, whether it's economic advisors, people in politics that sits to people that's close to making these decisions, and we just talk about it. We just hear these soccer people complaining and saying we don't have that platform, but some of people around soccer has that platform. Why don't we use that platform and try and get these people, these young players, to play at home, and then maybe we can expect certain things from them.
I'm glad you brought that up because that was a question I was going to ask, but you've summed it up beautifully. Just as we do let you go, final question: 1 year down, 4 more to go. If you had to rate yourself out of 10, what would Collin Benjamin?
I wouldn't do that. I will actually let.
Gun to your head, you have to.
No. I would let others do that. Yeah. But I think that we came onto the scene. The guys didn't do too bad for us to basically go to the final of the COSAFA Cup with a very young team. For us to then also get knocked out of the COSAFA in the first round, those are lessons where I'm saying that, you know what, that's exactly what I'm talking about, saying you can come to the stage, talent will bring you to the stage, but then if you don't work, you won't be able to keep at the stage, because now, because you came that far, people are looking at you differently, they're organizing better against you. So if you don't keep taking the step, somebody's going to come on top of you, and that's what exactly happened with COSAFA. But at the same time, I'm saying that we are very good in the running with the AFCON. If we qualified in 98, 2008, 2019, if we can make it next year, 2024, I think then we've made the step. We've made the step, and we're working towards that. And yes, we can just dream about it for now, but till somebody proves us otherwise, I think we're going there. And yeah, if not, then we're gonna lick our wounds and try and get better and do the work. But yeah, it's a tough one. We've got 4, like you said, but this is football.
Yeah.
Anything is possible, and I think if we just, for us, it's just really important